London may not be the first city that comes to mind when you think of cycling, unless you're thinking of cities you're too scared to cycle in. I myself tried commuting about 9 years ago by riding a Boris bike to work, only to find I'd nearly lost both my legs at the old street roundabout when two black cabs decided to try and squeeze me out. Now, a big scare like that could put anyone off cycling in the big city, especially considering a lot of the roads in London are like the old street roundabout. There's not really a separate area for cyclists and for cars. However, a lot has changed in the big smoke in the last 10 years. Over the last decade, London has tried its best to add more features to make the city more friendly to cyclists, including making some cycleways, these cycle superhighways they used to be called, though the Dutch are probably laughing at the mere institution that is comparable to what they have in Amsterdam.
In London, just in the last few weeks, there's been 6 people killed.
London is a dangerous place.
I feel as though everybody is out to kill me.
Last year, well over 3,000 serious injuries.
How far do you cycle to work?
The authorities in London put in painted lanes for cyclists, but it only led to more deaths.
Cycling revolution.
This is what the route will look like.
Cycle-friendly.
Bikes make up 24% of rush hour traffic.
Segregated cycle lanes.
Segregate cyclists.
Is it up to drivers to protect cyclists?
If you hear a bell, watch out.
Safer cycling from the streets of London.
You know, it's risky, frankly.
First, new, completely segregated cycle lanes.
Some new bike-specific infrastructure.
This makes a huge difference. More of these cycle lanes.
The time has absolutely come.
The lane will separate bikes.
Cyclists, unfortunately, are running riot.
Adopting the Cyclists campaign for real cycle lanes, and we've been putting them in.
City Hall says it has quadrupled the cycle network since 2016.
And those cycle lanes just stop.
The most dangerous junctions for cyclists.
11 serious injuries in the last 5 years.
That cyclist went, whoa.
70% of drivers close pass.
So in order to test whether cycling in London is finally safe, today my friends and I are really going to test the city out. We're going to be cycling from Cannon Town / Canary Wharf in the east to Chiswick in the west. So let's introduce you to the gang.
My name is Dan.
I'm Dodie.
Hi, I'm Heather.
Hi, I'm Luke.
I've cycled a little bit in London, just a bit.
Yeah, I've cycled in London a few times.
Once, when the roads were closed for a bike race because there's no way in hell I'm cycling on an open road.
The Mobike summer of London.
I love the Mobike summer.
The Mobike summer. Yes, I remember the Mobike summer.
Off we go.
They first introduced this kind of like rental bike that you can drop anywhere.
That GPS system to keep track of its bikes with no bike racks.
It was before it was regulated, so these things were just everywhere.
Orange bikes everywhere.
50p an hour.
So cheap. It was so cheap.
They're dead now, aren't they? Do you see their corpses lying in the street?
Have you cycled in any other parts of Europe?
Yeah, we cycled in Amsterdam together.
Yes.
I think I've cycled in France before.
Amsterdam. I have cycled in other parts of Europe. With you, Evan?
Probably somewhere else.
Many places.
No. Why would I travel to do more exercise?
Cycled in Copenhagen, where you chopped your off. It was a back pedal brake, and you just couldn't get the handle of it.
I had to learn how to brake.
And then something happened which startled him, and it threw you off your bike.
I'm bleeding.
It's bad.
I bought peas. I'm going to put them in my shorts.
Why haven't you cycled more often in London?
Because it's London.
We cycled in London together once. We went over a roundabout and nearly died. We nearly got run over by an Uber driver, and I haven't done it since.
I barely drive here. It's so awful to drive on these roads. I can't imagine cycling. I'm scared of any parts where there are buses.
When we go through Kensington and Chelsea,
Absolutely.
they don't like bikes at all. They resent the notion of you having a bike.
You can never tell when one's coming behind you, and I'm so scared it's just gonna run me over.
The whole thing scares me.
I am scared about all of it.
I don't currently have a helmet, and that's something I should probably correct. That does make me a bit nervous.
Don't crash.
But I do have a helmet. Very important. Make sure you always ride with a helmet no matter what. Do you have a helmet? Dan!
And without further ado, we hit the road.
Oh God, Evan, is this what we're going on?
Wait, what?
All right, everyone ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Thank you. Sorry, we went the wrong way.
Things started off on a shaky foot as I got a bit confused navigating around Canary Wharf. You see, we had to share the road with some cars here, and in this part of the city, there are definitely some one-way roads.
This is a one-way street, so it's the next one, actually. Left here. What are we doing? Where are we going? Down the steps. That makes no sense.
We're off-roading.
After having to climb down a set of stairs with our bikes, minus some points there,
Yeah, this thing is taking a beating.
It's a Lime bike.
we finally made it to a nicer cycling path as part of the Thames path along the river. But not before Heather found a nice little present in her Lime bike basket.
Oh my god! Oh no! Oh, there's a condom in the basket of this bike.
What?
There's a condom in the basket of this bike. I didn't notice that.
Can I see it?
Ah!
Oh. Dan, you want to look in her basket?
Now that's for a different type of helmet, but the next 10 minutes honestly weren't too bad as the streets were quiet, and even though they didn't necessarily have separate cycle lanes, they felt safe due to the layout being more of a street than a road, so cars here that did pass us went a lot slower. But then here's where things finally picked up. With one right turn, we finally made it to our first real cycleway. This was CS3, which runs from Barking out in Zone 4 all the way to Lancaster Gate in Zone 1. Any comfortable ride in the city probably involves making your way as fast as possible to one of the cycleways, as the difference between cycling on one of these and a normal road in London is night and day. But you might be curious as to why it's called CS3. Well, the cycleways in London used to be called cycle superhighways.
Cycle superhighways.
Cycle superhighways.
Cycle superhighways.
Cycle superhighway.
Cycle superhighways.
So CS3 was the Cycle Superhighway 3. But the issue with calling them a superhighway is the connotations of the word highway itself. Even though the original intent of the word meant fast and direct route on the same road, the word highway often makes people think of highways for cars. In other words, speedy and unsafe for beginners and pedestrians. Like every cyclist on the path is going to be powering through on the Cycle Superhighway on an e-bike at 40 kilometers an hour, so the term was changed to cycleway to properly make them feel more inclusive and accessible.
We've made it to one of the cycleways. Here we are, this is CS3.
Nice.
And boy did they work. From the second we got on CS3, that was some of the most fun and comfortable cycling we had all day.
This is like ideal.
Most of the cycleway was completely separate from the road, with a curb protecting us, had separate lights for cyclists with little bikes on them. It's the little things, you know?
Oh, here we go.
But then through sheer coincidence, and something I didn't even know was a thing, there seemed to be quite a crowd going stark raving mad near the cycleway around the Tower of London.
Jack laying half naked underground.
I've seen so many willies in the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, it turns out the day of our cycle was the same day as the annual Naked Cycle. I don't know what would drive a person to want to get his bit stuck to a hot bicycle saddle, but we didn't stick around long to ask any questions. The UK is a really weird place.
Okay, well this feels very safe. We're completely separate to the cars.
I do really like how it's it just feels normal.
This is lovely. No vehicles in sight. What do you think of this ride so far?
I'm loving it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, not too bad.
Like steps, nice.
Yeah. Oh, there's a tunnel.
Hi.
Do you enjoy this ride so far, Billy? Yeah. I feel so safe.
Yeah, that's it. I was like, I'm actually good through because I know now the bike played the whole way. It was like I was calm, I was a bit nervous. Now I'm like, I'm in control. Is this a cycle tunnel? Wow, look at her go. We're about to do the nicest part of this entire cycle, which is through St. James Park, Green Park, Hyde Park, before we get to the major boss battle in Kensington and Chelsea.
Oh, don't say that.
So we hopped back on our bikes and back onto CS3. One of the nice bits about CS3 is that it does quickly carry around so many iconic and beautiful London sights. We already passed the Tower of London, but we also passed the London Eye and Big Ben, as well as Buckingham Palace. So if you're a tourist watching this video and are wondering how safe the cycle paths are, well, I'd say hop on CS3 for about an hour, and you can see so much so quickly, and so fun and so safe. Do note, though, speaking of tourists, that even though these areas have lovely protected cycle lanes, they are rather touristy, and we all know, no offense, tourists are usually the dumbest people in the city, and you may find that no amount of dinging of your bell will get them to get out of the cycle lane. It doesn't help that it was also the same day of a big protest, so probably not something to worry about during a weekday commute. And now, I do think it's important to note that so far, our journey had gone so much better than I'd ever expected. Even though I knew that the true fear and terror were looming on the horizon for the latter half of the trip, it felt nice to appreciate just how safe and smooth it had all been so far. For me, a big reason why everything felt so smooth was that I'd been riding the Cowboy Cruiser. Just look at this beautiful bike. As he is a cowboy, I have named him Arthur Morgan, because he's just too good for this world. It's got integrated lighting for late night rides, a carbon belt drive rather than a chain for much lower maintenance, no grease here, and a slick and streamlined look that at first glance could pass as a normal bike, with a detachable battery for easier charging. Speaking of charging, my phone snaps right into place on the top of the handlebars, where the integrated app tells me my speed and gives me turn-by-turn directions while wirelessly charging my phone. It truly feels like the bike of the future. I do have to give a special shout out to my manager Robert, who, when I mentioned I'd love to get a Cowboy for this video, actually already knew a guy. So we got in touch, they generously sent me this bike for free, and from my experience with the bike, after cycling about 30 kilometers in one go, I had a bit over half of my battery left, and depending on conditions, the battery is supposed to last anywhere from 40 to 80 kilometers, so more than enough for my needs, which, no joke, is pretty much taking this instead of the tube from now on. Cowboy had no idea what I'm going to be putting in this video, if I say positives or negatives, which is quite nice. It's just a really nice bike. So if you're interested in learning more about it, I'll leave a link for it in the description. Otherwise, as we have hit the halfway point on our journey, this is where things get a little bit spicy. If you've seen Jay Foreman's excellent video on cycling in London, you know that one borough in London really doesn't like cyclists, and that's right where we're heading through. So we finally made it to the hard part of the journey. We're now in Kensington and Chelsea, where bikes are actually purposely hit by the Bentley owners. Okay, sorry, by the Mercedes owners. And so we're gonna cycle straight shot, hopefully pass through Hammersmith, that roundabout, and then we make it to get some celebratory points at the old Crown. And maybe it was foreshadowing of the worst times to come, but I kid you not, the second we crossed into the border of the borough, crisis struck.
So, this is, it's not the widest cycle path. And I mistook this thing, me and Luke mistook this thing because we were talking for a traffic light, and there were a bunch of people stopped and parked. So we just stopped leisurely, but of course you guys were all still cycling behind.
So that is the traffic light with the three lights that are there?
It's obviously not a traffic light. We were distracted, not paying attention.
And I was looking at the random person in...
But what was the major issue? It wasn't Luke's fault and it wasn't Dodie's fault. What's actually the culprit?
These line bikes.
Yeah.
The
bikes.
But up until this point, things were honestly pretty perfect. Like, if I'd ended the video there, I would have happily told you that cycling in London felt safe, amazing, and fun, and my experience was so much better than mine 10 years ago, but it was finally time to cycle through actual Kensington and Chelsea down Kensington High Street. We went from a curb-protected cycle lane to white lines with bicycle symbols to just nothing but a full-on motorway where we finally lost our first rider to the stresses of the road.
Not a big fan of this. No more nice cycle paths, huh? I don't know where they are now.
Yeah, they're quite far ahead. I think I can see them.
Oh, those are big. Oh God. Are you okay, Dan?
Yeah. It's gonna go in a straight line, I might not stop.
Okay.
Well, this isn't nice, is it?
This is hell!
This is the worst part. As soon as he witnessed just how ruthless the cars were on these unprotected roads, Dan bailed out to get the bus through this evil borough.
This is so much better. Why didn't I do this the whole time? Oh, this is why.
These cars are silly. Oh my God, this is the worst. This is the worst. We just lost Dan. As soon as we hit Kensington, he just went, no, I'm not. He saw a bus behind him. We were getting cut off by two, yet again, black cabs. Not good. He was the only one of us, to be fair, that didn't have a helmet on, and I don't know if you've seen Gordon Ramsay's recent post about his cycling accident, but let's just say you should always be wearing a helmet when on the road, especially if you're in the borough of Kensington and Chelsea. This borough decided to do away with logic and just throw cyclists and motorists in the same lanes and pretend that cyclists didn't exist. All of a sudden, we were in the left turn only lane for motorists.
Oh, right. Evan, it's because it's a turn on left. Go, go, go.
So now we had to pull over again and cross more traffic in the dual carriageway because now we're expected to be in the middle of the motorway.
Can we just walk across this? We have 6 seconds. Go for it.
Until we pass to the next area in which we're finally able to go back on the left, unless, of course, there's a bus in the way in which we have to veer around the bus, hopefully avoid traffic again, and all in all, it just felt incredibly scary.
All right.
All right.
There's a bike?
Oh my god. This is the best thing I've ever
Sorry, we've been having a very bad day.
Cycle lane. What did she say?
It's off the pavement. And I said, sorry, we've been having a very bad day.
I think it was not because you're on a bike, it's because you're a pavo.
And also just getting cut off yet again by another taxi, ignoring Rule H3 and Rule 76 of the Highway Code, is just a standard at this point for this borough.
All right, we're clear. Follow. 12 minutes to go.
That woman was so grumpy and she has no idea what we went through. She has no idea that we took a brief detour on the pavement.
All right, I'm right with you. Well, that wasn't necessary, was it? Oh. That was illegal, by the way. Oh, we've got bollard things. Get out of my road here. Give me the ding of justice. Okay, so this is a really weird bit I think you might want to follow. A weird left, right, right, left.
Oh yeah, I see.
I don't like this at all. I don't want to do this. It's just awful. That was awful. I felt like any moment I'm gonna die.
Guys, stop on her, and then she spreads her around and we start turning out into
Disgusting. I hate this. But I love cycling the other bit.
So after some spicy maneuvering to get out of the squareabout, we finally saw the answer to all of our prayers.
Oh my god.
An actual cycleway again.
Oh my god, it's protected.
Fully protected with a large curb, we had made it to Cycleway 9, the newest of the cycleways in London.
Now this is a cycle path.
Now this is what I'm talking about.
Happy bicycle dinging sounds. And just like that, the nightmare section was over, and it was yet again a comfortable and fun little ride over the rainbow crosswalks on Chiswick High Road to end our journey in Turnham Green, where we met up with Dan again and hugged each other since we all got out of this journey unscathed.
Woo!
We made it! Now this is a cycle path.
Right.
But after such a full day, we were exhausted, so we decided to treat ourselves to a well-deserved pint of cider and some fish and chips at the local pub for a job well done.
Well done, guys. Well done, huh?
Job well done, yes?
Cheers. Oh, wait.
Whoa. So congratulations to everybody for surviving that cycle.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was very lovely in the beginning.
Oh, it was so
Amazing.
Lovely in the middle, had a little bit of crash.
A little bit of a crash.
And then, Dan, what happened 3/4 of the way through there?
Well, look, what happened is the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea decided that they really hate bikes.
You actually bailed before it got worse.
No, yeah.
So much worse.
Basically, I could tell from the second we got there. I know that area already. And the second we got there, I was like, okay, it's Saturday, it's busy.
Yeah.
There are other chaotic bike riders around. And then it was when we were cycling down, and I saw already we'd been like getting around that junction, and then suddenly some courier or other just
There's
like
a motorbike. A guy on a motorbike like fully looked at me, could see me coming, and then just went, "I'm gonna go anyway," and just pulled right in front of me.
And
we got cut off by a minivan as well.
Yeah. And then obviously I was behind you on the bus, so I saw the bit where like you were
we gave
in
up.
the wrong lane.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, that is kind of the summation of it.
So then we had to get out of that because I was like, we're supposed to be in the left lane, but now the left lane, which is always the cycle lane, is no longer the cycle lane.
Yeah, because it's the right lane, so you have to be in the middle to be able to get back to. And what's really frustrating about it all is like, I then got off the bus in Hammersmith, grabbed a bike, and job done. Like I was like almost immediately the cycle lane.
So it's frustrating that you had to basically get off of a bike and then get on a bus to carry on cycling because of Kensington.
Look, I mean, if I'd had part of it is I didn't have a helmet, and that's my thing.
It was not.
But even if I'd had a helmet, I feel like it's nonsense that for like literally High Street Kensington, they're like, no, we don't want any bikes.
Yeah.
It's
And
just so
and
much,
it's like,
so
how
dangerous.
much, but also like how much fun were we having?
It was
Like,
awful. We literally kept having to get off the road at the square about.
We have so much fun.
Oh yeah, that was lovely.
all the way, like all the way from Canary.
Cody's feast has arrived.
Hell yeah!
What was the highlight of the cycle for you? Going around.
I would say there was a bit where we were cycling in a tunnel and we were all ringing our bells. That was so fun. I felt like I was in like Post being a wallflower or whatever.
I think that the bit around the tower, seeing how, but that's another example of it, right? Because that's a massive junction as well. But it was so specific for where we were going that it was like, oh, how fun and also safe.
I definitely really loved, there was a bit where the trees were kind of coming over the bike lane, and so it was literally like we were just cycling through the trees, which were like dappled in sunlight, so I love that bit.
That was so nice.
I really liked going through like Hyde Park and then all along past the palace and all that kind of stuff because thanks to the Palestinian protest, it was all closed off.
I think I was just surprised with how nice the East London beginning bit was.
It really was.
The Canary Wharf was bad, but as soon as we got on that cycle path, it was just easy until Hyde Park.
And especially when we were like going through like the wharf bits, or like there was even a bit where it was just on the pavement and separate.
Did you have fun though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like massively frustrated. When I get back on the bike at Hammersmith, and it's just like lovely Chiswick, leafy, like West London, bam. Why can't they just do that one road? Like what is, and it's
Rich people.
It's rich people and Tories. Like I don't want to push too bad.
Tories.
But it is. Like but it's like we're not. I keep thinking about like when we were riding and when we were doing the bells and like even the nudists. Everyone's having fun. Hyde Park, we're all cycling. Everyone's having a nice.
There were so many cyclists on the road.
Imagine you're a bunch of nudists trying to cycle through Kensington and Chelsea.
Thank you very much for coming. It's been very fun.
Well done, we did it!
Back to the studio.
Minor injuries.
So, all in all, do I find cycling in London safe yet? Answer the title. Actually, yeah. From the cycleways that I've cycled on now, most of them really do feel safe. You feel protected, and outside of Kensington and Chelsea, I honestly had a great time. And it's not like I only cycled for this video. I've literally cycled every single day since the day that I got my bike. And that is totaling, I think at this point, I just passed 100 kilometers. I've been grocery shopping on my bike. I cycled to Greenwich and back, including this annoying bit in which the lifts in the Greenwich foot tunnel are always broken, so I had to carry my freaking bike up the stairs. But I did that and I had a blast. And I even, just yesterday, cycled all the way to Woolwich to see Punch Drunk and back. And that involved being on the Woolwich ferry. I took a ferry across, and every single one of these journeys was really safe feeling and also cheaper than taking the tube because, you know, it's a bike, it's free, and it was also faster than taking the tube. And I think the most important difference here was that I had way more fun. It was so much more fun for me to travel to these places because I was choosing to do it. It was almost similar to like a video game. Like I'm choosing things, I'm seeing things pass, rather than saying, I have to travel to get there. Oh, I have to take the train. It's, I get to travel. I'm like, oh, that's exciting. I can bike there. And so, yeah, I genuinely feel like from my experience, cycling in London is pretty safe. I love it. I feel more connected to like cyclists on the road. And if you've been like a subscriber to my channel for a while, you'll know I do have a weird neuroticism about me where I cannot seem to just like something. You know, if I like something, I go all out. I got the 8-year streak on Duolingo. I got my own place, so dove into interior design. And here I am being like, yeah, I'm a cyclist now. I fucking love it. So like maybe there's gonna be some more cyclist content on this channel. If you have any suggestions, please hit me up. But otherwise, a genuine question, if you have ever cycled in London, after seeing this video, would you cycle again? Do you feel like maybe it has gotten better? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.